Hi everyone, welcome to this Git tutorial. If you are new here, I'm Jobin, and today we are going to learn one of the most essential tools in software development, and it is Git. Git helps you to track changes in your project, go back to earlier versions, experiment safely, and collaborate with others. In this video, we'll start from the very basics, installing and setting up Git, and then go step by step through the most important commands with clear, beginner friendly explanations. By the end, you'll understand not just how to use Git, but also why each command matters. So let's get started. Okay, let's take a real life example or real life scenario. You're writing a report goal school project. On Monday, you save it as project.docx. Okay, so on Monday, you save this as project.docx. Okay, then on Tuesday you make some changes, but to be safe you save it as project underscore v2 something like this docx. Okay, then by Friday you have a lot of versions like project v3, project final, project really final, project really final fix, something like this. Okay, so by the end of the week you have a lot of files like this. Okay, then now you are the only person working or writing the project, and you saved all these like this. Monday you saved it as project, and then project version 3, project final. Okay, so now your friend edits it too and sends back. Okay, imagine that your friend is also working, or he's also working on the same files, and he made some edits, and he sent a file back to you. Okay, and this is the one that is sent by your friend. Okay, now there is some problem. You don't know which version is the latest one. If if that other guy's name is John, if John deleted something useful, it's gone. Okay, and John is actually deleted this one, and it is gone. And if you both change the same paragraph, okay, and you both are working on the same paragraph, then which version or whose version wins? And this is a total chaos, and this is exactly what used to happen in software projects before tools like Git. Okay, and imagine that all these things are your code files, and two people or more than two people are working on the same project, and you are saving your each day's code with some file name or in a folder, and some other guy comes and he also making some changes to the same files, or you both are working on the same files, and you are in a total confusion which one is the latest one, or which file is deleted, and who changed the files, and all these things are, and that makes you into a total chaos. And this is exactly what used to happen in software projects, and before tools like Git. Okay, so how can you find a solution for this scenario? That means what if you have a time machine? You could go back and see how the file looked yesterday or last month. You can go back to the past, and you can actually see how the file looked yesterday or last month. Or you can have a branching path. You could try new ideas in a copy of your project without touching the main one. And imagine that this is your main one, and you want to do some experiment on this code file. You can create a new branch like this. You can create a new branch, and you can work on that branch. Okay, this is your new feature or something like this. Okay, this is a new feature, and you're experimenting some new feature in a copy of this file, and that is you are working this locally. I mean, a copy of the file, a copy of the main file. Okay, and you are not going to alter the main file. Okay, so then a merge button. If you have a merge button and you both are working on some features, okay, and this is your feature, and some other person is also working on some new feature, okay, then and after completing these two things, and if you have a merge button, and you have a merge button something like this, then when you click or when you ask to merge, and these two features are merged to the main code file, okay, that would be beautiful. And so, and also you have a history log, you could always see who changed what and why. And okay, and I hope you got the idea. And it should be much better if you have a time machine, a branching path, a merge button, and a history log, okay, and that's what Git is going to provide you, okay. I hope you understand. Okay, now you have an idea about what Git is actually going to give you, and what problem actually Git tries to solve. Okay, so then the very next question is, what is actually Git? Okay, Git is a tool that helps you save versions of your work and collaborate with others safely. That is actually Git is. That means it's actually helps you to save versions of your work, whatever it is, whether it is code or something else, okay, and you can collaborate with others. This is what Git is going to give you in an abstract sense, okay. And you can consider Git as a smart folder manager or a time machine, okay. You can rewind and restore old versions, and you can rewind and restore. It's a time machine, and you can rewind and restore your old versions, okay. Then it can be a sandbox for experimenting, building new features or something like that, without affecting the other files. And it is actually a teamwork assistant, and that is important, teamwork assistant, okay. And everyone can work in parallel, and Git helps merge it all together, okay. And this is actually Git is a tool that helps you to save versions of your work and collaborate with others safely. And you can think it as a smart folder manager. It remembers every version of your every file, and you can imagine it as a time machine. You can rewind and restore all versions. A sandbox, you can experiment on a branch without breaking the main work. A teamwork assistant where everyone can work in parallel, and Git helps merge it all together, okay. So why Git is important? Git is actually uh, helps you to track the history, so every change is recorded forever. And Git is actually safe, you can undo mistakes, and whether it is accidental or intentionally, you can undo it safely. And Git helps you to bring teamwork. Multiple people can work on the same file, and it helps you to do some experimentation, test new ideas without any risk, without affecting the actual files or your production files. An industry standard, almost every company is actually using Git for collaborative development. So that's why Git is very important for a software developer point of view, okay. It is a necessary or essential tool you have to master, okay. Okay, now let's check how Git thinks about your work or our work. To avoid confusion, and we are actually going to learn some basic Git workflow actually. Imagine that you edit your files as normal, and this is your working directory. And remember this term, working directory, okay, and that is called working directory. And this is where all your files reside, and this is where you are actually editing your files, okay. And when you want to save some changes, you are actually adding them to a basket you're actually adding them to, okay, imagine something like this. This is your folder, okay, and you have a lot of files inside this thing. You have lot of files inside your folder. Okay, you are actually editing all these files, and you want to save this, save some changes, and you are actually adding this to a new area or new basket, and this thing is actually called, and this is actually called staging area. Okay, let's add here staging area. Okay, and these terms are important actually, and this is your staging area. Okay, this is your staging area, and this is your, this is your local working directory or your working directory. Okay, I hope you understand. And when you confirm yes, and that means when you confirm to save, and you're actually taking, or git is actually taking a snapshot of this basket and your staging area, and you're actually added some files to the staging area. I have one file inside the staging area and another file inside, okay, suppose you have two files, and you ask git to save, and when you do, when you give that command, git is actually taking a copy of this entire, or git is actually taking a snapshot, that is a correct term. Git is taking a snapshot of this staging area or the current staging area, and that is actually called, that process is actually called commit. Okay, you may heard about this thing, commit. Okay, then, and this is actually your history. Okay, so we talked about different terminologies. One is called working directory, where all your files resides, and if you want to save something to your history, you have to add that to your staging area, and that area is called staging area. And when you give, when you commit, actually git is going to take a snapshot of your staging area, and it saves, git saves that to the history of the project. Okay, this is how actually git work. And you can edit, then stage it, then commit it. Edit means change your files, stage means prepare changes you want to keep, then commit means save those changes permanently into your history with a message. Okay, and this is the, actually I'll give you a clear picture about that, and this is actually your uh, git flow. Let me move this a little bit. Okay, and you can edit, stage it, commit. Edit means change your file, stage means prepare changes you want to keep, save those changes permanently to the history. That is actually your commit. Okay, this is what is commit. Commit equal to save those changes permanently into history with a message. Okay, now, and that is part of your history. Okay, and you can time travel it, you can go back, and you can do some experiments, you can create branches, everything you can, redo changes, and everything you can do that because you have that in your history. Okay, so this is a basic workflow, and next we are going to learn about how to install git in your machine. Then we are actually going to check different git commands, and I mean we are not able to, we can't do, we can't learn all the git commands, there are tons of git commands, but we are going to go through the basic commands that are necessary for your daily software development job, I mean. Okay, hope you understand. Okay, now let's try to install git on your machine. And if you are on Windows, you can go to git-scm.com. Okay, and this is the official website. Okay, you can download git for Windows from here. Okay, then it is very straightforward, and you have to click next. Okay, and this will download an installer. Okay, and after downloading, you just have to click next. Okay, so and after installing, you can verify your git installation and make sure that your git installed properly. You can take a command prompt. Okay, you can take cmd like this, then you can type the command git hyphen hyphen version, and this will give you a version. Okay, this is the version in my machine. I am on Windows right now. Okay, and if you are on Mac, you can use the command, like you can use the homebrew to install uh, git on your machine. Okay, let me delete everything. Okay, if you are on a Mac machine, you can use the homebrew to install git using this command, brew install git, and after that you can check the version like we did it on Windows. Okay, then if you are on Linux, you can use the sudo apt command, this sudo apt install git. Okay, and this will install git, and after installation you can use the same command for checking the version, and before that you have to update your sudo. Okay, so this is how you install git. Okay, and we already checked we have git installed in our machine, and if you don't have git installed, okay, go and install uh, for your OS, right? I think you got the point. If you are on Windows, you can download this, or you can if you are on Mac, you can use brew to install git, or Linux, you can directly install git using command line. Okay, then and after installation we have to do some configurations. Okay, so actually git is meant for tracking your history. That means who, when, what. That is what git is going to give you: who made the changes, when it changed, and what is actually changed. This is what git is going to track. So you have to configure your git. You have the command, like there are different configurations, and your local configuration, system level configuration, and you can user level configuration. So I'm going to do a global configuration. Okay, for configuring git, you have to take a command prompt something like this. Okay, cmd. Okay, I'm on a Windows machine. If you are on Linux or Mac, you can use a terminal. Okay, you can use the same command. Okay, I'm going to write the command git config hyphen hyphen global. Then that is a flag actually, and this is going to give you, and this is going to give the git regarding the configuration. This is a global configuration, and you can use system configuration or something like that. I am going to use the global configuration. Then you have to configure your name. That is actually user dot name. It's actually dot user dot name. Then you can give your name. I'm going to give my name something like this. Okay, then press enter. Now your name configuration is successfully added. Then after that you have to configure your email. Use the same command, git config hyphen hyphen global. Then instead of user dot name, you can use user dot email and the email ID. And here you don't have to actually provide that in quotes, because there won't be any space in between email IDs normally. And if you want, you can give that in quotes also. Okay, and this is my email ID. Okay, so I just added configuration. Then you can do some more configuration for the efficiency of a work, or you can do, there are a lot of configurations, like you can configure the default branch. Then you can configure the colored output. You can configure the default editor, lot of things. Let me do some more configurations. Git config, okay, and hyphen hyphen global. Then init dot default branch space main, and this will actually set your default branch as main, and we'll talk about branch in later. And you can do this configuration. Then git config hyphen hyphen global, then the color dot ui, and that is auto. Okay, and that is actually for your colored output. Then you can do some default editor like git config hyphen hyphen global. It's actually hyphen hyphen global. Then core dot editor, then put a space inside the codes. You can use hyphen hyphen code hyphen hyphen wait, and code means it is actually VS Code, and press enter. Okay, now you done all the basic configurations, and you can see all your settings by the command git config hyphen hyphen list. Okay, this will give you all the settings, like, and you can check the configurations here, and this is the name we set. This is a name, and the email ID, then the default editor, all those things are here. Okay, okay, I told you you can view the settings by pressing the typing the command git config git space config space hyphen hyphen list. That is an actual command. Then press enter. Now you can see all the configurations we have already added. Then if you are inside this configuration, if you want to quit from this, you can press the Q. Okay, that will give you the prompt again. Okay, so these are the basic configuration things we have to do before starting or before working with your git. Okay, now let's go back to some theory. That means, and what is actually your mental model, like how git actually work. We already talked about that in a previous video, like we already talked about that what is local repository and working repository, then what is the staging area, all those things, but we'll dig some deep into that. Like, okay, so working directory, that is the first term you have to understand. Working directory, okay, this is the first thing you have to understand, and this is actually, this is where your all your actual files reside. That means if you are writing some codes, all this directory contains all the folders and files, and this can have subdirectories. Obviously, in your project structure there may be some subdirectories and files. Okay, so that is actually your working directory. Okay, and your working directory contains a lot of other files and folders again. And the next term is actually your staging area. Staging area, that means staging area means a basket where you place exactly what you want to save next. Okay, that means save next in the sense to take the snapshot, I mean. Okay, so staging area is actually a basket where you where you keep all the files you want to save or want to take a snapshot. Okay, that means git is actually going to take a snapshot means consider you are taking a picture of your basket, and that picture contains all the files and folders inside that basket. Okay, so that area is actually called staging area. Then there is a term called repository. Okay, repository means, or repository, or you can have something like this history, history, or you can have a term like this head. Okay, and this is actually a permanent record of saved versions, and this is actually a permanent record of saved versions, and that saving process is actually called commit. Okay, and always remember this word commit. That means you are actually taking some files and you are taking some snapshot, or you are actually adding some files to the staging area. You are taking a snapshot and you are actually saving that file to the history, and that thing is actually called, the command is actually called commit, or the process is actually called commit. Okay, and so what is our actual process, and if you want to commit something, you are actually required to add that to, okay, you are editing some files and you want to commit that to or you want to commit that changes, and before that you have to add that to your staging area. okay, and you can use some command, and that is called git add command. After that you have to commit, okay, and commit, and you can use the command commit, okay. And this is how actually git works, and this is a workflow of your git actually, okay. And now you can create some folders, or we are going to create some folders, and we are actually going to experience, or we are going to apply all this knowledge to that folders and files, and to examine or to learn how git works in practically, okay. So let's do that. Okay, now let's create a folder. I'm going to use a command line to create the folder, and let me move into my documents, okay. And I'm going to create a folder called and project files or something, project underscore files, okay. And let me move into that project files underscore files. No, you made, okay, now you are inside that project files, and now this is actually an empty folder, there is nothing inside this thing. And let me add some text files into this folder, and okay, let's do that. Okay, we have created the folders, and let me add some files into this folder, and you can use the command type, okay. Then if you want to create an empty file, then you can use this command, like what is the file name actually we need. You can create something called intro.txt, okay, and this will create a file inside your folder. Let's check that. And you have that files inside documents actually. So let me go to my documents, and inside my documents we have the project files, and you can see that file here, that is an empty text file, okay. That's fine. Let's create some more files, and again I'm going to use the same command, and the file name is different. I have something called plan.txt, okay. Imagine that this is the folder where all your code resides. I'm not going to write any code here, we are just simulating that scenario here, okay. And let me create one more file, and that is actually something called summary.txt, okay. Now you have three files, and this is actually a normal repository, a normal folder. This is not a git repository. If you want git to track this folder, or git, if you want git to track all your files and folders, you have to make this repository a git repository. Right now this is a normal folder inside your file structure, okay. So let's check how can you make this a git repository. So for making this a git repository, okay, you have to do something called git init, okay. And then you will get something like this: initialize an empty git repository in your file path. The exact file path is there, and there is a folder. It just created a folder called .git, and you can come here, you can see that folder inside your root folder. That means this is a root folder, project files. And right now we have three text files inside this thing, and you can't see any, normally you can't see any folders here, any .git folder here. It is because the normally it is hidden. So you can go to view menu, then you can select the option show, then put a check mark on hidden items. Now you can see there is a folder called .git, and this is where git is going to keep all your git related things, and you don't have to touch this file, never. So that's why by default it is hidden, okay. If you tamper this file, all your history, all your git related things will get messy, or it may there may be chance to lost all your history and all those git related things, okay. So and these are the files we created, and we made this to a git repository. Now I'm going to add some text into these files, okay. And you can do that from your command line actually. You can you can do either way, or you can do it from here. I think this is the easiest way. I'm going to open that file. Then let me write something intro text or something like this, and save this, and I'm going to close this. And again, okay, and I don't want all these things. Let me close everything. Don't save. Okay, now let's open the second file, and let me add some text inside. This is a plan text. Okay, so close this and take the summary. Then I'm going to add a line summary text. Okay, so this is what is actually happening when you are writing code. You have a lot of files, you are writing a lot of code inside all these files, and you are saving all those things. Okay, this is what is actually happening in your software development scenario. Okay, and remember that this is actually a Git repository, and Git is actually has have an eye on your files and folders, or what are actually you are doing in these files inside that Git repository. Git is always watching you. Okay, and like a CCTV camera, it is actually looking you. What are the files you changed, and what are the changes you made? All these things are tracked by Git, or Git know which files you altered. Okay, now if you want to check the status, you can use the command git status. Now you can see there are some untracked files. That means you made some changes to this file, intro.txt, plan.txt, and summary.txt, and you made the changes, you did some edits in this file, but it is in a status called untracked. Okay, untracked files. That means Git can see them, but isn't tracking. Git isn't tracking this. Git can see these files, but it isn't tracking these files. And if you want to track, if you want to if you want Git to track all these files, you have to add this to your staging area. Okay, so what is actually this Git status? Git status is actually going to give you what is actually going on inside your Git repository. Then it use constantly to see, or Git use it constantly to see which files are untracked, modified or staged. Okay, and it will give you an abstract idea, or it give you an idea about which are the files in your root folder remains untracked or modified or staged. And for that we are going to use the command git status. Okay, and it reads all areas, and it won't change anything. It is actually reading all the areas. You can run the command. Let me clear this. You can run the command git space status. This will give you the status of your git folder. Okay, okay, and this means untracked means changes not staged or commit. That is actually means that is what actually untracked files means. Okay, now the very next question is how can you add this to your staging area? So we use the command. We know this picture you edited, and you have to add this to the staging area before committing. So how can you add these files to your staging area? There are different way, and that command is actually git add. This is a command, and this will put the changes to the staging area. Then you can choose, or you can opt which files will go to the which files you want to add to the staging area, or to be precise, which files will go into the next save or next commit. So before when we are saving something, make it something clean or focused or logically connected. Imagine that you are working on a design of your login page, and once you completed that login page, you can add that to your staging area. Then you can take a snapshot. Okay, that is a meaningful commit. And never do lot of functionalities or never add lot of functionalities in a single commit. That won't give you any idea about what happened that stage in the history or that moment in the history. If you are trying to track, if you are trying to trace back. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, so the commit should be meaningful, and that should be minimal or optimal, and you have to give a proper commit message. Okay, so and before committing you have to add your files to the staging area. Okay, you can add files as a wall. You can add use this command git add dot, that will add all the untracked files into the staging area, uh, that means here, if I run this command, this intro.txt, plan.txt and summary.txt will go to the staging area. Okay, and if you want to do that, you can do git add space dot. Okay, and if you want to specifically add some files, you can do something like this: git add space intro dot txt, and this will add the specific file to your staging area. And remember that, and these files are actually inside your root folder. That's why I added the file name only. And if you want, if it is inside some subfolders, you have to uh, specifically mention the path. Okay, and suppose this is inside a folder called files, then you have to mention files slash intro intro.txt, like this. Okay, so remember that you have to mention the exact path. Now this is inside the root folder, so I can add something like this: intro.txt. Okay, now I just added one file to the staging area. Now you can check the status. I told you status will give you the untracked files, stage files, all these things. Okay, I think I made a spelling mistake. Status. Okay, then now you can see there is a file inside your staging area, but it isn't saved, it isn't committed, but there are still untracked files in your git repository. Okay, and this will give you the summary. Git status will give you the summary about what is happening inside your repository. Okay, then there is some other command like git add. It's not got, it's actually git add hyphen p. Okay, and there isn't any changes actually, and this will give you interactively pick chunks, advanced, and it is great. And this is a bit advanced topic actually. Okay, so you have something called git add hyphen p, and that will interactively pick chunks. That means okay, I'll give you a detailed explanation of what is actually this thing. Okay, okay, the command is actually git space add hyphen p, and it is actually p stands for patch mode actually. Then instead of staging an entire file, git show you it actually shows you each change called a hunk, and ask if you want to stage it or not. Okay, then when you actually going to use this, or why you use it? Sometimes you edit a file and make two unrelated changes. The best practice is actually commit should be small and focused. Each commit should do one thing. That is our policy for committing. So when git add p, you can stage only the part you want for one commit and leave the rest for another commit. This makes your history clean and easier to understand later. Okay, that's why we use the command. That's where the command comes, git add p. So remember the term called hunk. That means you made some changes, unrelated changes. Then you can that you can commit separately in different commits. That actually these changes are in the same file. That is a important thing here. So it is powerful. So let's add some changes to some file. Let me add some changes to the plan file. I have something called plan text, and let me add some new things into this. Okay, so the plan is actually something called boil water, then add pasta, some cooking plan. Okay, pasta. Okay, and I'm going to save this. Then after this, I'm going to call git add space p. Then I'm going to call the plan.txt here. Okay, and why it is called no changes? It isn't adding any changes. File, save. I think the issue is actually this git add hyphen p command is actually work on staged files, I think. So let me stage this first. Git add space plan.txt. Okay, now it is staged. Now I can run this thing. It is still it has no changes. And let me add some for something, add salt. Okay, save it again, run this. Now you can see you have something called, and there are it just made this two different chunks, and you have boil water, add pasta, then add salt. Okay, there are a lot of things. Then you can see uh, Git just divided your code into different chunks. You can decide which one you want to go to, uh, which one you want to commit. Okay, and this is a bit advanced thing. This is not for just beginners. Okay, this is advanced thing, and you have something like this stage this chunk, and this is called yes, this is no, this is cute, and there are a lot of options. Okay, so you can select one option from this actually, and from this instruction, and I'll give you a brief idea about what that instructions are. That means, and y means an s, the no, n means no, q means cute, and a means stage this and all the remaining hunks. Then d means don't stage this or any remaining hunks. J means leave undecided, go to the next hunk. J, there is a capital letter J actually, and there is no J here. Okay, then skip the rest, leave the, and there is an E, manually edit the hung before staging, and S means split actually. So you want, if you want to quit, or if you want to quit, you can press Q. I'm going to press Q and press enter. Now you just came back to your prompt again. Okay, and this is how you work with git add hyphen p, and this is a powerful thing, an advanced thing, and as a fresher you don't have to worry about this thing. We are actually learning the basic things. Okay, and come back to our topic. Let me clear this thing. Now if you check the git status, you can see there are two tracked files that are in the staging area that we need to commit, and there is an untracked files, and that means there is a plan.txt that is changed actually, and this means, and this file and this file is different actually. And let me commit again, no, let me add this again, and that is actually using this command. And if I press git status again, now you can see, and the staged plan.txt is actually updated with the unstaged one. That's why that plan.txt is gone from here. Now you have one untracked files that is called summary.txt. Okay, now let's check how can you commit this thing. And we have this diagram, and after adding the staging area we have to commit, then only it will be actually part of the history, and it will become the part of the history. Okay, I hope you understand the basic concept of git. Now we just added something, and let's try to commit actually. And now you have actually two files in your staging area. A commit means you are going to take a snapshot of your staging area. So if I take a snapshot, that snapshot will contain these two things. Okay, so for committing, I am going to write something like this: git commit. Then you have to pass a message, and it is going to become a part of your history. So when you when you time travel to the history, you want to know what is actually this and what happened at this stage of your history. Then you have to give a message to understand what is actually happening here. So I'm going to give a initial version, something like that, initial version of intro, a plan. Okay, intro and plan, this is actually in this commit, and let me press enter. Now you can see you'll get a message something like this: two files changed and seven insertions. Then you have a commit id, there is an id, and each commit has actually got an id. And okay, so you want to check what is actually happen in this, and you can press the command git log. Then it is going to give you the detail about this commit, and there is a commit id, this is a commit id, and this is actually head means actually a pointer, and this is your right, which branch you are actually pointing, the main branch. Then who is the author, and what about the date, and these are the dates, and date and time is the author, is the email id is the, this is actually taken from your default, your configuration. And this is the commit id that is actually created by git. Okay, so and while writing a commit or while writing a commit message, make sure that your message is actually proper. Okay, that means correct typo in intro, something like that, and expand summary outline, add meeting agenda to plan, and I think that should be actually present rather than past, like correct typo in intro. It isn't actually corrected typo, we already done it, then you are actually added to the history. But the right way to write the commit message is actually correct typo in intro. Okay, so and this is actually your uh, commit thing. So if you want to get this message as a single line, you can use the command git log hyphen hyphen one line. This command will give you a shorter description about your commit. Okay, and this is a commit id. Then regarding the checkout branch, and I don't worry about the term I used, it is called checkout branch, and this is a branch. Then initial version to the plan, this is the actual message we have passed, and there is a typo, don't worry, and make sure that there won't be any typo. Okay, so this is actually your one line version. If you want to get the longer version of this thing, just press git space log, press enter. Now you got the exact thing. Okay, commit, author, date, all, and the commit message. Okay, then there is another thing called this command. This is a bit advanced thing. You can use git space log hyphen hyphen one line hyphen hyphen graph hyphen hyphen decorate hyphen hyphen all, and let me run this thing, and you will get a one line version with a proper thing, nice compact graph. This will give you, and don't worry, and you can simply check git log. Okay, and don't make things if you are not interested to learn all these commands, you can simply learn this git log command that will give you the log of your commit. Okay, and right now we have only one commit, that's why you are actually getting this only. Okay, then there is something called git difference, and git difference is actually see line by line difference, and it will help you to review changes before staging or committing, or audit what's actually staged, or for that we are actually using git difference, and the command is actually git difference. And let me add git difference. Okay, and there is nothing inside in your staging area. Actually we did a snapshot, and you can check git status, there is nothing inside your staging area. Let me add this summary to the staging area actually. So I'm going to add git add summary.txt to the staging area. Now you can check the status, and now you have one file in your staging area. Okay, and now I'm going to my folder, and I'm going to change the summary, and this is a new line, something like this. I just wrote a line. Now the file inside your folder is different from the file inside your staging area. Okay, I hope you understand. Now let's check the status. Now you got something like this. You have the summary txt in your staging area, but you modified that. This isn't reflected here. This change isn't reflected here. Now let me check this git difference. Okay, now you can see the difference between these two things, and this is how you use git difference. And if you want to use this flag staged, no, I think I made a mistake actually. Hyphen git status. No, it's not status. Git difference hyphen staged. Press enter. No, still there is another. Press the Q. Copy. Okay. Now you'll get something like this, and you can see no new line at the end of file. Summary.txt, and this is actually a bit complicated, and there are a lot of plus, there are a lot of at 0 and +1, and all these have meanings. uh, okay, and now you check the difference between the staged and unstaged files. Okay, you can use the difference tool, and if you are using a IDE, this will make more sense, and it will show you in different colors what is stage, what is the actual file, what is the file inside your staging area and the file inside your local area, local folder, and what is actual difference. And in graphical user interface, like in a modern IDE, this will give you more sense. Okay, and right now you are in the command line. Okay, now you can use the command to remember the command git difference. Okay, now you can use you have another command called git restore. Okay, this is a command. Git restore is actually going to discard changes in files or unstage them without touching the history. And that means you change the wrong file or staged by mistake, then you can restore that thing. See, I'm going to restore this thing. Git restore summary.txt, and now let's check the status. Git status. Okay, and git restore is actually going to discard edits in the working directory. That means I just restored something. Okay, and let me check the previous command actually. And this is a command git status. Then now you can see working directory with that means we are let me make some changes. Okay, let me make some changes. I think you are in a confusion. Okay, now this is a new file. Okay, and this is okay. We made some changes to the summary.txt file. Now you can come to your command prompt. Now you can see there is a modified file, and you have a staged file, the same file. This is different than this thing. So you imagine that the changes you made right now is wrong, or you did it by accident, accidentally made some changes. Then if you want to restore that with the previous version, you can use the command. I'm going to restore the summary.txt with the summary.txt that is inside your staging area. So you can use this command git restore. Okay, then what is the file name? The file name is actually summary.txt. Okay, now let's check the file. See, there is no we already added that new line, and it is replaced. You just replace the file with your file inside the same summary.txt inside your staging area. Now if you check the status, you're actually going to get nothing, because There is no untracked files or no modified files. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, then there is something called git ignore, dot git ignore. Okay, and that is actually a command that is going to, git is actually going to track everything inside your root folder or your git repository. And if in some case you don't want to add everything to your git repository, or git you want to exclude something from git to be tracked, for that you can create a file called .git ignore, and in that file you can mention which all things uh, you want git to be tracked or not tracked. Okay, that's why we are going to use .git ignore. Okay, it's actually a file listing patterns. Git should ignore temporary files, OS chunks, or your dependency files. If you are working with some virtual environment, you don't want to track that files, you can add that to your dot ignore file. Okay, so we'll do that in a later example. Okay, so remember that thing, that is, there is something called dot git ignore. Okay, and these are the basic thing about git, and basic thing about adding the file, the staging area, and the committing the file, all those things. Okay, now we are going to go deep into git, like the merging, branching, rebasing, all those things. Okay, and we'll do that in the next video. And if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and I need a lot of comments. And if I did any mistake, you can correct me. Okay, I'm not a git expert, but I daily use git for my workflow. Okay, thank you for watching. See you soon. Okay, if you already know the basics of Git, working directory, staging, commits, now it's time to level up with the tools that make Git powerful in real world projects. And we'll cover branching and merging, and stashing work in progress, tagging releases, and cherry picking commits, rebasing for clean history, reflog for recovery, and finally pushing and pulling with GitHub. I'll explain each concept, show you the commands, and walk through the practical examples using a simple project folder. Okay, let's get started. Okay, and before going into the deeper concept, let's learn something called head. And you see that thing, and if I type git log, you can see something called head here. Okay, and this is actually a pointer. So let's check what is actually head. So and it is like this, head. Okay, head is actually the git way of saying where you are right now. Okay, it is actually gives you where you are right now. This is what the head is going to give you. It is a git way of tracking your location, I mean your position. It usually points to the latest commit on the current branch, and it usually points to the latest commit on the current branch. Okay, so that's why here you can see it points to the main. This is the only branch here available here. That's why it is pointing to the main branch, and it is pointing to the latest commit. Okay, so if you are on a main and you commit something, head points to that commit on the main. That's what you are actually seeing here. Okay, and when you check out or switch, head actually moves to the another branch. And think of head as the you are here marker on the map, like map. You can see a pointer. It is actually a pointer that gives you, or that helps you get to understand where you are right now. Okay, that's what head is all about. Okay, so normally it is actually pointing to the latest commit on the current branch. Okay, and that's what we are actually getting here, and this is the only commit here, and now it is pointing to that commit, and on that branch, the branch is actually main. Okay, now you understand what is actually this head. Okay, Then now let's move further, and let's check what is actually branching. The concept is very simple. A branch is actually a separate timeline of commits. By default, you are starting on a on main branch, but you can create more branches, and you can try out new things without breaking the main. And that is a concept. Okay, I'll tell you once again. Branching is actually, and I'll copy that explanation here. Like, this is actually branching. Branching is actually a branch is a separate timeline of commits. By default, you are starting on a main. Creating a branch lets you try new work without breaking the main. Okay, you can create as many branches you want, and you can experiment on new features or new code, and without breaking the main branch actually. And that's what actually branch is intended for. And for creating a branch, you can create use the command, and let's write the command here. Let me clear this. Okay, for creating a branch you can use the command git switch. Okay, then hyphen c, then what is a branch actually, and I'm going to call this branch as feature, then slash recipes. Okay, now if I check git status, now you can see your branch is actually changed to this one. Previously it is actually pointing to the main branch. Now we just switch the branch, and we created a new branch called feature recipes, and now you are in that branch. Okay, so and let's add some files to this thing, and I'm going to add a file. You can use this command echo. Then I want this content inside recipe, some recipe name pasta, then the file name is actually .txt. Okay, this will create a new file git status. If I check this, you can see there is an untracked file called recipes. Okay, and you can commit git commit, and before that, we have to add that to the staging area, git add recipes dot txt. Okay, and I think we have. Okay, let's check where is actually that file reside. Okay, and it is actually recipes. There is no txt there. That's why the file path showing some mistakes. Okay, that is actually my mistake. I just misspelled that. Okay, so now you have a file called recipes.txt, and we actually added that file to the staging area. Now you can commit, and the command for committing is git commit -m. Then you can give a commit message, add pasta. Okay, use proper commit messages, add pasta recipe. Okay, close that double quotes and press enter. Now you have a commit on this branch, and if I check git log, you can see there are a lot of commit actually, and two commits are there. This is actually pointing to the main branch, but this commit is actually pointing to the feature branch. Okay, and this is actually not going to affect your main branch. Okay, then you can switch to the main. You can switch the main branch by git switch. What is a branch name? I want to switch to main. Now branch is switched to main, and if I check the log again, now you can see here your commit is pointing to the main branch. Okay, so and let's switch back to git switch. Okay, now no, what is the branch name actually? Recipes features, and let's check the branch name. Where is the branch name? This is a branch name, feature, not features. it's actually feature. Okay, now we just switch back to that feature branch. If I check the log again, you can see, okay, you can see this thing now. This, it is pointing to the that feature branch. Okay, so switch is actually used to switch hyphen c. There are two commands. I wrote two commands actually, and one is called, okay, and I'll write here. One is called switch hyphen c. It is actually t, switch hyphen c, and this is actually uh, it will create and check out the branch. Okay, so this will create a branch, also make it the checkout. Okay, then head moves to that particular branch. When switching back to main, head points to the main's timeline. Okay, so this is actually the concept of branching, and you can create as many branches you want. I can experiment the features you want to try out, or you can experiment with the features you want to do, and also without affecting the main branch, and you can switch back to the main or your actual branch after you experiment after your experimentation is completed. Okay, I hope you understand. Then, and next is actually merging, and merging is actually a concept called combining two branches histories. And now you have two timeline. Actually, there is a timeline for the main branch, and there is a timeline for your feature branch. Okay, no, now you are experimenting some feature with your in your feature branch, and after completing that experimentation, you want to combine this with your main branch, and that's what I told you. You can combine two branches histories. Okay, so there are different ways. One is called fast forward way, and simple pointer move. Then you can merge and commit, creates a new join, and then commit. Then you have something called conflict, when both edited the same lines, and that will create some issues. Okay, you're actually working with the with a file that is actually inside actually in your main file, and you already do some experimentation on that the same file in your feature branch. When you try to combine or merge these two things, maybe sometimes you may encounter a conflict. Okay, so while merging, we have to consider all these things. Okay, let's try to merge something. Okay, now let's try the fast forward merge. That means the concept is actually, it happens when the target branch, that is you're actually planning to merge the main branch with the feature branch. Okay, that is your intention. Okay, the fast forward merge happens when the target branch hasn't moved since you created your feature branch. Then Git simply moves the branch pointer forward. No new merge commit is actually needed. Okay, I'll explain the concept with an example. Okay, now we already have already created a feature branch. Let's check the your status. Now you are on feature branch. Okay, then you can switch back to your main branch by typing the command git switch, what is the branch name, main. Now you are in main branch. Okay, and we already added some recipe files, then we committed that recipe, and we have the commit git log. Now you can see you have a commit on the main branch, and if I try to switch back to your feature, featu feature slash recipes. Okay, now you are in recipes branch, and if I click here, you have two commits actually. Okay, and one, this is the latest pointer. That means this, now your head is actually pointing to the feature recipes. Then this timeline is from your main branch. Okay, now let's switch back to your main branch. Switch git switch actually main. Okay, then you can use the command git merge. I'm going to merge the feature branch with the current branch, and current checkout is actually main. I'm going to merge that, FEATURE, then recipes. Okay, now you can see it just fast forwarded and it actually the merge the file with your main. Okay, that means git just forwards main pointer to the commit with recipes txt. No merge commit is created. And let's check the git log again, and there isn't actually, and now you can see it just merged that with the existing commit. Okay, I hope you understand, there isn't any new commit. Okay, and there is another way, and you can use the merge commit. That means it happens when both branches have new commits since they split. Git can't just forward, it creates a special merge commit with two parents. Okay, and for that, let me switch to main. Right now I am in main, and I'm going to add something called echo project. It's actually project updated or something, updated in main, and that is inside your plan.txt. Okay, okay, now you have to commit git add plan.txt. Okay, then you can commit git commit -m, then the commit message update plan in main. Okay, now you have a commit on the main branch. Now let's switch back to the feature branch. Okay, no, already up to date. Okay, let's switch back to feature. Now you are on feature branch. Okay, now let me add something new, echo summary updated recipes feature. Okay, and you have to understand one more thing. Actually, this branch has all copy of the files inside your folders, and when you are changing something from that branch, it is actually changing on that copy within that timeline. That is the actual concept. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that. So that's why I'm making a change into your summary.txt. Okay, now I'm going to add this to the staging area. Add summary.txt. Okay, then I'm going to commit from this branch and git commit -m, then pass a message update summary recipes feature. Okay, some message. Okay, now you have a new commit, and you can check git log. Now you can see, and the latest, your head is pointing to the feature branch because right now you are in that feature branch, and you have a commit, and you already have one other commit. If you switch to main, and you can check the log actually, and you want to switch to git switch main. Actually I forgot to add. Okay, git in the later command like this, and you have to add git here. I forgot that, that's why that causes an error. Okay, now you are in main, and if I check git log here, now you can see there is a commit here. There is a new commit. There are two commits in your main branch, and you have one new commit in your recipe branch. Now I am trying to merge. Okay, so git merge feature slash recipe. This is the branch I want to merge to the main. Okay, and if I press enter, Git creates a merge commit automatically. Okay, and combining both the set of changes, and the history will show a branching path and then a merge code. Okay, so let's check the history git log. Okay, then now you can see, and there is actually a new commit. Okay, this was the previous one. Actually, I think there is an issue, and it's actually created a fast forward thing and not a merge commit actually. So let's try once again, I think. Okay, and let's check where are we right now. Okay, git status, we are on the main branch. Okay, now let me add something to the files. Actually, main only change. Okay, and I want this to be in your plan.txt. Okay, and let me add that to the staging area. Git add plan.txt, and we are actually repeating that uh, for seeing that merge commit. Okay, so plan.txt, then I want to commit this. Commit hyphen m, it's actually m, and give a message, and it's actually main update plan. Okay, now let's create a new branch. Let me create a new branch. Okay, I just created a new branch. Then I'm going to add some changes to the summary.txt. Now actually now you are not in main, and we just switch to your new branch, and from here I'm going to change your summary.txt file, and now we change that file. Let me add that to the staging area, and remember we are in the new branch. Okay, now we added that to the staging area, and let me commit this thing. Okay, once again I committed that. Okay, now you have commit here, and let me check the git log. Now there are a lot of commits, and this is the current commit. Okay, now let me come back. Okay, then I want to check, I want to get back to the main branch. Okay, switch main. Now you are in main branch, and let's merge. Okay, git merge feature. What is a branch actually? Some summary tweak, summary hyphen tweak. Okay, now we just merge this thing, and let's check the graph actually, and git log, and this is a command, git log space hyphen hyphen on one line, and hyphen hyphen graph hyphen hyphen decorate hyphen hyphen all. Let's try this. Okay, and still you are actually getting a single path, and it's not a y-shaped or merge node and a merge node, it's actually getting. And this is actually because you can force a merge commit even when the fast forward is possible. Okay, and here there is a possibility of fast forward, that's why git is actually taking this path. But you can force your what git to uh, create a, I mean you can force a merge commit even when the fast forward is possible, and that's what we want. So you can switch to main, and you can try this command actually. Okay, and it's actually up to date, and let's restore something, then we can try that again. Okay, the thing is simple, and sometimes you will get sometimes git is going to give you the merge commit path actually. Okay, so that's what I am trying to demonstrate you. I think Git is actually taking a straight path. Okay, now let's check the conflict thing. And you can sometimes you may have conflicts while merging, and let's do some example regarding that. Okay, and for demonstrating that, the concept is actually it happens when both branches change the same part of the same file. Then Git can decide whose changes to keep, so it marks the conflict inside the file. Okay, for that, and let me switch back to main. Actually, we are in main, and switch main. Now an extra C is the okay. Switch main, and you need to use the command git switch main. Now you are already on main branch. Okay, now let's change something on your intro text. There is a file called intro text. Okay, let me add some changes. Okay, then you can add that to your staging area. Then I'm going to add that to staging area. Then you can commit. Okay, I'm going to make a commit here, paste it, and it's created a commit. Okay, now let's switch back to the recipe branch. Okay, that is a new branch we have created before. So now you are in feature recipes. Now you can add some file, some changes to the same file. I just added changes to the same file, that is your intro.txt. I'm going to commit this again. Okay, let me commit this. Then no, I just added, and you can commit that using the git commit command. This is a commit command. Okay, now if I go back to the main branch and I'm going to merge it. Okay, now you are switched to your main branch, and let me merge it with the recipe branch. Okay, and remember in from the both branch I just changed the same file. Okay, and if I click here, and you can see auto merging intro txt. Now there is a conflict actually, and conflict is a merge conflict in intro.txt. Automatic merge failed, fix conflict, and then commit the result. Okay, this is what we are going to get. Okay, you will see conflict markers, and let me check whether there is conflict markers inside our project files. And this is the file, and we actually changed intro, not plan, intro. Now you can see there are conflict markers. Okay, so git already added the conflict markers. And how can you get rid of this conflict thing? Okay, that's what we are going to check. Okay, now manually edit, you can manually edit both files you want. And okay, let's check the file content. Welcome from main branch, welcome from feature branch. This is what right now it has. Okay, in this case the solution is actually you have to manually edit the file to what you want actually. And I want something like this, and let me change this to welcome from both branches. This is what my resolution is actually. I just changed this thing, and let me save this. And after saving this, I want to add this to, right now you are in the main branch, add this to your staging area intro.txt. Okay, and you can commit. Now you can commit that as a conflict resolve. I just committed this thing. Now if I check your git log, you have a commit called a latest commit here, conflict resolved. Okay, this is a solution actually. This is a solution you have to follow if you have some merge conflict actually. Okay, so I think it is clear what is actually merge conflict is. And this you will encounter this if you are in a collaborative environment. and conflict may occur, and your manager or your the person responsible for merging this will resolve all this conflict. Okay, I think the idea is clear. Okay, so we have covered some bit advanced things. Okay, then don't forget to experimenting with this branches, create some branches, try to merge it, and try to commit from each branch. Okay, all those things. Otherwise, you won't get a familiarity with all these topics. Okay, then what's next? What's remaining? And I think we haven't talked about stashing or something. Okay, we have to go through that also. Okay, and now let's check merging, stash, tags, cherry picks, rebase, reflog, all those things remaining. Okay, I think it's better to create a new video saying all these things, and I'm winding up this video, and I'll come up with a new video that will be a continuation of this one using the same example. And in that video, and we can check what is stash and what are tags and what is actually cherry picking. That means you can grab one specific commit, and what is actually rebase and what is reflog. Okay, then we'll talk about the push command, fetch command, and pull command, and that means you can connect this to a remote repository like GitHub. Okay, I hope you understand, and see you soon with a new video. Thank you for watching.